What's the biggest misconception, would you say, of pro wrestling?
Well, I think if you want to get into pro wrestling, you have to have a great imagination. I think that you, as a kid, you had to pretend that you were, I used to, when I was younger, this is crazy, but I would pretend that Russia was spying on me because I was such a superior athlete, and they were watching me play basketball and watching me play football. And I had this imagination of, that I was this incredible athlete that everybody in the world was, searching for, wanting to, I was the next big thing, So having the imagination and being a great athlete and intertwining those can really help you in the WWE and sports entertainment.
You also have to have some acting skills too, right?
Yeah, it comes, it comes with experience. They didn't teach me how to do that stuff. They just said, hey, they didn't have a program back then for it. They had this dojo Dory Funk dojo, where they taught you how to wrestle. And they did a little bit on promos, but it wasn't a lot. Now they have a NXT, which is a training facility. They do promos. They teach you acting skills. They teach you wrestling, everything. Back then they didn't have it. So when I started, Vince said, sink or swim. Here's your promo. He actually, the first night he read it to me, he said, you're going to say it. And I said, Vince, I didn't hear a word you said. I'm a little nervous right now. He goes, I'm going to tell you one more time. If you don't say it, you sink. So he told me one more time, and he said, now go out and do it. And I did it. And that's when he said, I have somebody special.
What did you find in me, the performance aspect of it? Did that bring you towards it, or did it push it?
I loved it. Yeah. I loved the...
Because you're fucking great at it, right? And
yeah. It was, I didn't think I'd pick up that quickly. From when I started, the first day I wrestled, or I learned taking bumps, I guess. 2 days later, I had my first match. That's impossible. I picked up very quickly on the technique, but they started me on TV literally 7 months later. You usually have to be about 3 to 5 years in before you start on TV. 7 months in, and I won the world title. 10 months after that.
You beat The Rock.
Isn't this the 20-year anniversary of you beating The Rock?
Yeah. So the thing is, I didn't know what I was doing, but Dwayne The Rock called the whole match in there. He just told me where to go, what to do.
Whispering to you.
So here I am. I'm going to be the champion of WWE, and I don't even know how to work.
Yeah.
Right? So, but Vince, I wasn't screwing up. I was getting better and better and better. The more I performed, the better I got. The more promos I did, the better I got. And by the time I won the world title, there was no looking back. And then being a great follower made me a great leader, and I learned how to work myself and improvise. And before I knew it, my next opponent was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I beat him for the title.
Yeah.
So the two biggest, two most popular sport superstars in history were my first two titles.
Wow.
And it was a blessing because they taught me so much that I became a great worker after that, and I started leading the matches.
Yeah. Have you seen the state of sort of the fans? Has it changed? Because I remember as a kid, I used to go all the time, and I remember, like my old man used to take me and Dougie when we were kids, and I mean, that it was like vulgar back then, man. I mean, people were like throwing bottles into the ring. Vulgar, it was, I mean, the things that people were saying. I remember being like, first time, like being really scared, like, you know what I mean, of the audience, right? Yeah. But I'd gone to see you a few times, and man, I was actually really surprised with how civil it's much.
They had to change it, and a lot of it had to do with WWE becoming a publicly traded company. Once they did that, the shareholders decided, how do we make the most money? Kids. How do we get kids there? Mm-hmm. Parents. How do we get the parents there? Market to the kids. Yeah. So everything, merchandise, everything they do, everything's PG rated now, if not even G rated. Yeah. You can't swear. You can't say anything that isn't approved. So they're making more money now, and I'm not going to say they have a bigger fan base.
Yeah.
They do worldwide, but in the United States, the Attitude Era was pretty much,
Yeah.
the main era where we were selling out every single night.
Do you think it would have been easier for you to play a heel or like a good guy?
Well, I think starting out, the problem with wrestling is pro wrestling is, in order to be a babyface, be a big babyface, you have to be a heel first. The fans won't accept you until you go through the process. Earning your keep before you go. So whether you like it or not, you have to do it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I liked people pissing people off. I thought it was fun. And every once in a while I get something thrown at me, or it was back then. It was still a little rough.
Yeah.
But it was cool. I mean, I just really enjoyed pissing off the fans and having that reaction, because I knew that the more popular I became as a heel, the more popular I would be as an overall wrestler. So Roddy Piper didn't become the biggest babyface in wrestling, good guy, because he just showed up. He did it because he earned it. He, all those years he was heel, these fans, not only did they shit on him, but they were like, this guy's entertainment. He's entertaining. He's really funny.
There's something about making people hate you. I mean, I remember when I did Shane on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Like I had never had any experience like that. I remember we went to New York Comic-Con, and the show hadn't even come out yet. And like Andrew Lincoln.
That was a good heel part, by the way.
It was so much fun, man. But I didn't even to me. And I'm such a douchebag actor. I'm like, I'm just playing the integrity of. He's a great guy.
I feel like
I feel great. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm.
He made the right choices according to him.
Like I believe in everything that I'm doing. And like I remember at New York Comic-Con, room of thousands. It was like Walking Dead, this big comic book, and Andrew Lincoln comes up and he goes, "Hello, I'm Andrew Lincoln, and I'm going to be playing Rick Grimes." And then like Sarah Wayne Callies, "Yeah, I'm going to play." And they went like one by one. And then I came to me and I'm like, "Hello, everybody. I'm Jon Bernthal. I'll be playing Shane Walsh." And I was like ready for and it was like this resounding like, and I remember I was like, "Oh, like me?" Well,
you're
like
offended.
I was like, "What is this, man? Like you haven't even seen the show." Like you know what I mean? And I'm like, and it was I never felt that before. I mean, to have thousands of people,
especially when you're not expecting it.
I wasn't. Dude, I was like, how could you applaud for her and not like what the fuck are you basing this off? But man, they're smart audience and they'd read the comic books and they hated that character.
So Shane was always the heel.
He was always the heel, man. And I fought. But the one thing that I will say that's interesting about it that goes along right with what you're saying is by the next year, once the show had already come out. And then Shane had actually done some bad. He killed Fat Otis, and he killed. He had done some pretty shady shit.
Yeah.
At that year when they announced it, they all were like, yeah,
you
know what I mean?
Cheering.
I was like, hells yeah, man. They're like, you might be shitty, but you are shitty, And I think
we accepted you.
Yeah, dude. Like you did it all right,
Yeah,
man. And that man, that definitely made me happy. And what about obviously, the injuries that you sustained.
That's what I'm wondering is how. I mean, it's got to be so hard on your body to just sustain all those shots over years.
Yeah, I amateur wrestling is one of the most injury-prone sports, and I got injured a lot doing it. But getting into pro wrestling, I didn't realize the wear and tear it put on your body. I thought it was fake. I thought, all the stuff, you were pulling punches, you weren't really doing anything. But, when I got there and I took the bumps, you ever been in the ring and take a bump?
You have to be a supreme athlete, right?
Yeah, well, it hurts. It's the worst pain. You ever get hit from behind going 50?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
Wow.
So you have
every night too. Right?
Every night you're bumping, yeah. And this is what I tell young wrestlers that they want to be WWE superstars someday, which is great. Limit your bumps.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's John, Bam Bam the dog.
First, on behalf of both of us and everybody from the Real Ones team, I just want to sincerely thank you guys for tuning in. The folks that I bring on the show, they're family to me, and being able to tell their stories and bringing you into their world is something I'm just super proud of, and again, grateful that you guys tune in. We've decided we want to take things just a step further. It's a Patreon community. And basically what that means is if you become part of this community, look, I already bored Bam Bam. If you want to become a part of this community, you're going to be able to hear episodes early and all that, ad-free and all that good stuff. But there's all this behind-the-scenes footage, all this stuff that we've shot that really brings you into the folks that we've had on the show, really brings you into their world. Live chats with me and the folks that I bring on the show to talk about their world, talk about the issues that they're dealing with, about their triumphs and their tragedies. Just go to Patreon/RealOnes on this website that you see right there, right on the screen, that's right in front of you. This whole idea was something about building bridges and bringing people together and bringing folks that often don't get the mic and giving the mic to them. So the fact that you guys tune in means the world. Anyways, again, thank you. Be good to each other out there. Rock and roll.